Assalamu alaikum, ladies. Welcome to the Balance and Thrive podcast series. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that you've probably seen me go on and on about a lot. And it's about getting your light right. I'm Faria, a certified health, wellness, and nutrition coach. Some of the things that I've helped women with in their health are things like weight loss, energy balance, energy improvement, hormonal imbalances, digestion, insomnia, mental health, chronic pain, just to name a few. Allahumma barik. And just a short disclaimer, the information provided to you today is for educational purposes. It's not medical advice. It's not intended to diagnose or cure. If you do have a serious medical concern, please reach out to a qualified practitioner. So I'm really overjoyed over the last few months, having got a lot of messages in the group and also via DM from you guys that have reported as you've started to integrate certain light practices in your day that you've noticed a big difference in your lives, which is amazing. Allahumma barik. And with that, I've also been getting a lot of requests and questions about best practices around this and how to use some of the apps out there that are recommended. So today, I hope to share with you all in a little more detail about this. This is going to be great if you have a hectic schedule and you just want reminders for the important times that are there outside so you can benefit from them. Because let's face it, we don't live in caves and we can't be outside all the time. So, a common question that I'm asked is how long do we need to be outside to actually feel a noticeable health benefit? Now, the thing to understand is that light is a nutrient, and each of the different times from daybreak to nightfall has a specific benefit for you. For this session, we'll be talking about using My Circadian app. You can also use DMinder, which is an older app, but both have free accessibility and also some paid options. So if you have the app on your phone, and when you click into it, this is how your dashboard will usually look. Okay, so I took this screenshot during the night, and this is how it looked. Now, if you look at it, this orange line probably maybe above. So if you look at the app right now, if I look at mine, right? Oh no, sorry. So it will be like this, right? And it will tell you obviously the date, it will tell you your location, it will tell you the temperature that it could possibly could be outside. Um so this is the kind of information that you get as soon as you open the app. Okay. So what are some of the key areas that we want to notice? You'll see, right? We have the times for daybreak, sunrise, UVA, UVB, and you'll have noticed in some seasons, depending where you are, right, the UVB won't be displayed if there is no UVB outside. Okay. So, for example, in the winter, whilst using the app, it didn't show any UVB at all for being in the UK. Okay, so obviously it's showing it now because we do have some UVB time, alhamdulillah. And what you will see when it is winter, there's a grey box further down, and it will say something like D3 is available in X amount of days. Okay, so it obviously gives you an approximate time when we will be able to have that option again, inshallah. You can also see afternoon UVA, okay, and then when sun is and when nightfall is. Okay, so underneath this box, you have two other boxes which say log sun session and the lux meter. So now if we look at the lux meter, we talk about that one first. Lux is a measure of brightness. Okay, it can measure the amount of brightness indoors. Now, in most homes, the maximum that you may get indoors would be around 500 lux. Okay, maybe a bit more, right? And to actually see any benefits for us as humans, we likely need to have a minimum of 1,300 lux plus. Okay, the more is actually the better, especially in the mornings. Now, if you use this lux meter, you'll notice it looks like a camera. So what you can do is you can take a picture of your environment, right? And you want to take it at eye level, because this is what we're talking about, because this is what the eye can see is the thing that makes the difference. Okay, so hold it to eye level and take a picture, and that will give you a reading of how bright your internal environment is. And then to compare it, what you can do is go outside. You can go outside and take a picture of the sky, or a picture of where your eye level is standing outside, and you'll notice the difference. Like on a beautiful day like this, the lux reading is going to be in maybe 100,000, at least 80,000 lux. That's the difference, right? So when you understand that, you can see just how much of a loss it is for us not being outside as often as possible. And it's so important for the body, the brain, to have that level of brightness. And you'll notice how some people get during the winter, SAD, right? Seasonal depression, right? And a lot of that is to do with the amount of light that they are not exposed to. So a good thing as well with this particular feature is to understand that in the evenings, we don't want that to be the case. We don't want to have a huge amount of brightness, because that's opposite to what's going on in our environment. As it gets darker outside, and when it is very dark, our internal environment needs to also mimic that. Now, obviously, we cannot be walking around in pitch black, especially if you've got kids. Okay, but you want that evening environment to be 10 or less lux. Okay, so this lux meter can be quite helpful with that. And again, make sure that you're taking the images at eye level. Saima, your mic is unmuted. Remember, ladies, you will be in the recording if you don't mute your mics and cameras. Okay, so that's the lux feature. Really, really nice feature. I haven't seen that it's available on DMinder, so this is quite unique to the My Circadian app. Now, the next one where it says log sun session, this button here, okay? Now, you will only see this available when there is an opportunity to get UVB from the sun, okay? What you have to do here, if you click it, you'll notice they'll be asking you for some information, which will be based on things like location, the amount of clothing you have on, right? Your height, your weight, your Fitzpatrick skin type, okay? So you will see that they're compared to, the skin tone that you have, whether you brown easily, burn, tan easily, that kind of thing. Not burn, inshallah, tan easily, right? And the cloud cover. Then it will take all of that information, and depending on the UVI, so the ultraviolet index that is available, it will let you know how long you should be out there. Now, if you're new to doing this and your timer says 15 minutes on both sides of your body, right? Because it's assuming that you are sunbathing and it will like give you some time, say 7.5 minutes on one side, and then an alarm will go off, which will tell you turn over now, right? And then sun your back, right? That is what it's for. But like I said, if you are new to this, you need to use your intuition and not what the app is saying, okay? If you are doing this at the height of the day, very hot outside, and you haven't been doing it very long, and the timer's saying 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but you start to feel unwell, you start to feel a bit too hot, maybe, just not feeling right, use your intuition. Listen to your body, seek shade, or go inside for a while, okay? Because an app isn't going to obviously take into consideration what's going inside you, what's going on, right? Maybe how much D3 you have stored, what you are experiencing internally, etc., etc. All right. So the app, use it as a guideline. Okay. So why is it even important for us to bother with all this light stuff? I mean, yes, look, we all know fresh air, nature is good for us, right? And yes, you wake up, you see a blue sky, you see sunshine, and you feel good. You feel happy, right? How many times have you noticed that? And the opposite is also true. It's a gray, dull day. You're like, oh, But what's happening inside the body? Okay, so let's have a quick summary of what's going on in the body here. Now, daybreak, this is the first marker mentioned on the dashboard. Okay, so this is when the sun hasn't reached the horizon. At this time, there's an abundance of red light. So it's literally your free natural way of getting red light therapy. There's no UV light at this time. And if you've ever been up at this time, right, you know how peaceful it is, how calming it is, how serene, like you could hear the birds waking up, the birds singing. It's so calming and soothing for the whole body. So if you're a person who tends to feel quite stressed in the mornings, then daybreak is a wonderful time for you to experience. After daybreak, you'll notice on the app it mentions sunrise. Now, this is the time the sun is now coming over the horizon. And this is the time when blue light is present. Blue light signals your body to wake up. This can also help to regulate stress hormones. It can help to release the correct amount of cortisol that your body needs to help you support hormones. This signal lets your body know how much cortisol you will need for that particular day. So it's very beneficial. So if you've been stressed recently and you've got a lot of cortisol in the system anyway, it will understand that, right? If you haven't got enough, then it will also release the correct amount. That's why it's so important to understand what we are actually getting from the light and what can happen when you don't get that correct signal in the morning. Okay. Now, you can gain the benefits of sunrise without having to physically see it. So you don't actually need to see the sun coming over the horizon, right? The spectrum of light, the wavelengths of light are all present there. In terms of timing, even a short time is going to be beneficial. So don't overthink it. I know as we are getting to like spring, we are in spring and then now it's getting to summer. This time is getting earlier and earlier, right? And in the winter, obviously, it's a lot more later. So it's easier to do, right? But there are so many benefits, it just can't even be enumerated. Now, after this, on the app, it will show UVA time. Okay, so ultraviolet A. Now, this is morning UVA. And you will see UVA time after sunrise and before sunset. Now, when there's no UVB, right, usually in the winters, then you will see that it will just be UVA there and UVA time available. Okay, so if you are closer to the equator, you will have UVB year round, right? If you are further away, then obviously that means less opportunity to have that UVB time throughout of the year, and morning UVA will be more prevalent. This time of day is extremely helpful for neurological health. It is the time when the feel-good hormones are set off. These also impact melatonin for that same night. So yes, a good night's sleep starts during the day. Another important element is knowing that the hormones produced at this time of day have the ability to stimulate a gut movement. There are also components at this time of day connected to appetite regulation and thyroid health. That's morning UVA. Okay. So now we come to UVB time. This will, again, as we said, will only be available at some times of the year, depending where you are. On the equator or closer, you have access all year round. Alhamdulillah, make the most of it. Some people believe that you can make D3 anytime you step outside, but this simply isn't the case. UVB is the only time that you can make D3 from the sun. This is usually when the ultraviolet index is at least 4 to 5 or 6 as a minimum. Now, the thing to understand, making D3 from the sun has a number of things to take into consideration. UVB allows us to make melanin. Okay, and that is going to show up obviously as a tan on your skin. Okay, this is also connected to hormones, mood, and can also influence blood pressure. UVB light has a positive effect on mitochondria and can mimic the benefits to your cells that you would achieve from fasting. It boosts the immune system and helps to bring down inflammation. There are numerous skin benefits, even for those with severe conditions, vitiligo, eczema, psoriasis, those kind of things. Okay, so now as we are getting those opportunities to have UVB, especially in somewhere like the UK, make the most of it, inshallah. And how do you know when your body has had enough sun? Now, for the majority of us, if not all, 95% plus time is spent indoors. Now, if this is you, and you also know that your skin is a little bit more sensitive, then you're going to have to build up to this, right? Going out suddenly just when the sun is at its most intense is going to be harsh for the skin, okay? And obviously you know how that feels. If you've gone on holiday somewhere, you're in a cold climate and you've just gone to a hot climate, say in the winter, it's strong, okay? And if you haven't built up your solar callus, you haven't given your skin the opportunity to acclimatize to it, then that's not going to be great, okay? You need to build up to it. You need to build up your tolerance being out at this time of day, right? And once you do that, you can actually be outside at the hottest part of the day for longer without burning your skin, without getting irritations, without feeling unwell. Some of the signs that you want to look for is if your skin begins to feel uncomfortably warm or very hot, or you start to notice that your heart rate is increasing. At this point, you should go to seek shade or go inside. Okay, let the system calm down, let it regulate before you go out again. So you'll also notice on the app that there is afternoon UVA. So we've just talked about UVB, right? And we've just talked about the UVA time benefits. Is there anything else beneficial after that? Well, yes, it's still an opportunity for the body to know what time of day it is. It's still going to be a lot brighter at this time of day than an indoor environment. And it still has positive impact on your hormones, your blood sugar interactions, and your mood. And again, as we've said, in the winter, there will be only UVA time available. So, what is the difference between the free and the paid version of this app? If you use the app, you will see the dashboard and everyone has access to that, right? So at a glance, you can see timings for things like sunrise, UVA, UVB, sunset, etc., which is really helpful if you want to know when these certain times are and say you're really busy and you just want to be out at a certain time where you're going to benefit. Okay. Now, the paid version will send you a notification for each of those times. Like you will get it right on your phone screen reminding you, hey, it's UVB time, or hey, it's UVA time, or hey, it's sunset now, right? So to start doing whatever you need to do to prepare for each of those times. The paid version also gives you a forecast of like 5 days ahead with the timings. The free version allows one lux picture to be taken, I think, per day, and there's unlimited with the paid version. There's also, I believe, more longer opportunities to your sun sessions with the paid version. So if you wanted to have a free trial of how those looked, you can use my code, which is Faria W, FARIAW, all one word, and you'd get 4 weeks free on Apple, 3 weeks free on Android to see how it goes. If you don't like it, you can just cancel it, inshallah. So, ladies, I hope that today you've been given an insight of something that you haven't really considered about the benefits of being out there. And so, inshallah, go make use of the beautiful weather that we have. Take those opportunities to step outside and notice how good you feel. I think to go into all of the exact health benefits is just too long. I mean, there are so many. The more I delve into it, the more I'm amazed, subhanAllah, of what Allah has given us with this. Alhamdulillah. Just be proactive with your health, ladies, and not reactive, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for being here live. And I hope to see you at the next session in a couple of weeks' time. Assalamu alaikum.